What is up, guys? It's your boy GRC. We're coming at you live every single day at 11 a.m. Eastern. And I'm going to play some funny clips for a few seconds. So if you were watching yesterday, GRC was on full-time SBF outside of Manhattan court watch. And we had some of the most electric times a person could imagine. I'm going to play some of the highlights as we go. So just know I did commentary on this yesterday. It was extremely fun for me. And I want you guys to see a few things to note. I was hawking a cameraman's stream for this live stream. The cameraman deserves every penny that I've ever earned in my life. Best cameraman in the history of, and I was hard on him early. And he just, it was amazing. And then two, after SBF with the $250 million bail to his mother's house, there's no way that his mother has a house that would even 1% collateral to $250 million. That's a lot for a house. So are we just doing more fake leverage? FTT fake leverage? All the real leverage goes to his parents and then courthouse leverage? What? Crypto in the morning. Every single day. I'm going to play a clip real quick, guys. If you were here yesterday, this was right outside the courthouse. This was the first breaking moments. There was no one covering this faster than me other than the cameraman that I was hawking. And I'm going to find that guy and I'm going to message him and I'm going to give him so many biceps. And I would like to actually donate to him if he needs money, but he might not need money. So he might not care. Anyway, let's go. This is my commentary. Obviously, I'm wearing a different outfit, so you can just assume that's not me. And then we'll get into the full news scope of everything today, but I need to start with this. I have to. This was too good.
I'm going to play this one through clean. Let's go. Now we have a wrong car situation. A wrong car situation. Hilarious. They're screaming bloody.
Over there. Can't go on the property, guys. I'm on the property. But you gotta let him out. You gotta let him out. Please. You gotta let him out. Come on. You gotta let him out. Not coming out. That's not our car. That's not our car. Out. That's not our car. Back up. Sorry, buddy. Look, back up. Come on, back up. Come on, buddy. Come on, guys. Come on, guys. Watch yourselves, guys. Guys. Calm down, guys.
This is an originated meme. It just originated a few minutes back. So I'm going to turn the audio back on, and we're going to have to play this 3 times or so. And if you guys want to clip it and meme it for me, I would appreciate it because I probably won't do it. But I still have a feeling it'll live in infamy. We're going to turn it back for the moment.
You gotta let him out. You gotta let him out. Please. You gotta let him out. Come on. You gotta let him out. Not coming out.
You got to let him out.
That's not our car. That's not our car. Out. That's not our car. Back up.
Okay. So that's the ones through. It's not our
You already know what time it is.
dude.
Crypto in the morning,
Crypto in the morning.
crypto in the morning,
Waiting on phone.
crypto in the morning, crypto in the morning,
Ready to take notes.
crypto in the morning,
Crypto in the morning.
crypto in the morning,
Waiting on phone.
crypto in the morning, crypto in the morning.
Ready to take notes.
Smoking no blunt on my way to the gym. 11 a.m. and I'm already tuned in. Got me some hacks and I'm making a stake. Got me some heads on, I'm making it rain. Pay me some maxi and that's just in case. Jim ready sent me to show you the way.
D5 Pro. Yeah.
Crypto in the morning,
Crypto in the morning.
crypto in the morning,
Waiting on phone.
crypto in the morning, crypto in the morning,
Ready to take notes.
crypto in the morning,
Crypto in the morning.
crypto in the morning,
Waiting on phone.
crypto in the morning, crypto in the morning.
Ready to take notes.
There's too much to cover. Oh my god, my light is in the background. How freaking low quality is that? Classic GRC. Guys, what the hell happened yesterday? Where is my car? Where's the car? We're gonna play it one more time. Period. I don't care what anyone says, but before we do that, guys, I'm getting better at streaming, and my computer's really fast. So I got a new computer, and it's easier than I could have ever imagined to be better with a fast computer. Guys, go to this tweet right now. I'll link it below. Just posted this. Here's the thumbnail for today. If anyone was curious, Crypto in the Morning, Crypto News Live. Can I call my mommy? That's your boy GRC right here. That's Jack Levin. And that's Sam. I cropped both of their faces on the federal agents. So that's we're at a baseline, right? We're at a baseline. Let me take this off. We're at a baseline right now. SBF, $250 million in collateral. I've never seen a bond that big in my life, ever, for anyone. I don't know much. I don't usually deal or think about rich people cases because, frankly, I've never cared until now. 250 million, that's a lot of money to collateralize real estate off of. What do I know about real estate? I know guys that have $10 million, $20 million houses. They're the biggest houses ever. And they're so what, $250 million? I just feel like he just got out of, basically they gave him a couple months at the house before they do this trial again, see if they can get more dirt on him. What do you guys think in the comments? Do you think when they go back, they're going to double down on this? And guys, I have news. I have all of the news for today coming right up. So you ain't really got to worry about much. So yes, if you want to share the tweet, be a doll. Helps the channel a lot when you share on Twitter, of course. But I have to go back because you can't make this S up. SBF criminal trial judge is married to law partner of firm that arranged the FTX BlockFi deal. Dude, it's like when you even write that, thank you so much for the $5 super chat. I do very much appreciate that. But dude, when you actually write that down and like look at it, it's like we all kind of know it. But it's like, you don't even want to believe it. You don't want to believe it. I don't know. Let's just go back to, there's somebody I want to give props to today. It's critical. It's so critical. Whoever this cameraman is, he's the best guy in Manhattan. He is the best guy in Manhattan. He is the guy I would get a beer with if I was in Manhattan. And I just want to take it back because I think it's critical that wasn't his only, like, that was one piece. That was one little baby piece of what this cameraman did. He sat in front of that door for 2 hours and waited. And the second that SBF and his parents got out of frame, the dude did a absolute Manu Ginobili crossover. Allen Iverson breaks everyone's ankles, sets up with the two best angles in history. We're going to play it back for this guy, and I want to see biceps for this guy because I don't know who he is. I kind of sharked his stream. I don't feel bad about it, but I would like to make the world a better place. All right, guys, this is it. I was in shock yesterday. I was in shock.
Dude, watch this, bro. Break ankles, catch the best angle, body up, and just game over for his job for the day because he smoked it. Boom. 360. We'll do it one more time. Right after my guy leaves the frame. Bam. Reggie Bush with it. And he's like, okay, all my pleb friends are here. Need an escape plan. Okay, we're out. Bye. See ya. Later. And then he's like, okay, what's the closest angle? Need angles. He's thinking angles. He's thinking business right now. He's like, I got to get these shots, got to get set up. I was hard on this cameraman early on. And he did everything to impress me in the ladder. So he's just moving through this. He's looking for his spot. He wants that fresh spot. And I'm telling you, he's the MVP of Manhattan today. Look at this. Oh, there's so much traffic. So much traffic. So much traffic. So much traffic. Oh, I'm just going to get a miracle angle. Miracle. God mode. What a professional. Look at this pro. Lines it up. Gets his effing shot. This is extremely slow motion. So this is very. Is he getting on the car? Is he on the car? Is he on the car? Oh, okay. Here's the meme spot. Okay. We have made it to the meme spot. This is an original.
Okay, so props to dude. I'll give you the layout. I don't have to keep watching it over. My guy sits outside the door for 2 hours. SBF comes out of the door for 3 seconds. Gets the best angle, does a 360 pop. All his boys are just talking water cooler talk. He's out. He's getting the next angle. Boom, right in front of the car. Catches the, it's not our car. It's not our car. He catches that and then gets another miracle angle outside when the car, he just catches everything to a T. It was just amazing to watch. Truthfully incredible. Craftsmanship and passion mixed into one moment while I was just sitting there with my boys. Biceps in the chat, guys. Let's get to something a little more serious. That's just for fun. I'm not the biggest fun guy in the world. I've been working on it. But I want to talk about something. Well, actually, let me pull the closest news story about the current SBF situation that I can. That would probably be important because for the people that are new in here, SBF owned a very large, centralized exchange that a lot of people used, a lot of users used, and everyone trusted them. And Kevin O'Leary trusted them, and everyone paid them. Everyone got paid by them. They were on Super Bowl commercials, but it was fraud the entire time. He was taking customer funds and he was commingling with his buddies and his parents, and he was, the whole deal. So let's real quick catch this 4 minutes and 30 seconds, guys. Let's get all warmed up so we know exactly what's going on. Is it possible that KYC indirectly made retail get into sex? Is it possible that KYC indirectly made retail get into centralized for the United States? The United States, if you're going to be talking about the United States, kind of, but not really. People can technically do whatever they want. But I kind of know what you're saying there. The following the rules almost indirectly got you wrecked. So in that case, it would make sense. Hey, I'll appreciate all the super chats. Hey, Cause D, thank you so much for the super chat. And guys, if I go offline for any reason, literally it's storming hysterically bad where I am. And I might have to get up and move a couple of things outside for a second. But either way, let's go through this 4-minute news clip so everyone can get up to date. So this is what happened. They offered him $250 million in bail. I've never seen a bail that high ever for anything. And his mother and father collateralized their house to get the payment. Now, I don't know if it's 1% or 5% or 10% in New York. I have no clue. But I'm sure they wreck you somehow. But they got off scot-clean because there's no way their house is worth that much fucking money. I'm going to look up the house. I'll actually do that. I'll look up the house because I'm sure it's on there. It's on a document. So I'm sure it's worth $1 million or $3 million or something. What kind of house do people – real estate's weird like that. So we got a couple things to watch, but I want to go into the first news segment now.
I want to go right now to John Yu, the former Attorney General, helps us out on these legal matters. John, always good to see you. The $250 million bail, I think you put up 10%, but we were told certainly that he didn't have the money, certainly not that kind of money, that he had lost his billions. So where did this dough come from?
Neil, usually in these kind of situations, there'll be some kind of bail bondsman, something like that, that will lend him the money. he's probably not that strong of a flight risk. He's staying at home with his parents. It's probably because his parents are both Stanford law professors. He might be hanging out in Stanford faculty housing for the next few months. So it's probably a good, I think it's mostly symbolic. When you're talking about $250 million bond, it's almost like saying we're just going to let him go 50, 100 million. The amount is really symbolic to show how important this is to the government and to the courts to give him a fair trial.
You know, you mentioned the parents, but weren't they being scrutinized as well? And I'm just thinking the oddity of that.
Well, as a law professor, I don't want law professors' kids to be thrown in jail in general. But, look, this is the problem, is you've got people already turning government's witnesses here, and they're going to be turning around and testifying against Bankman-Fried. Anybody who's receiving money from Bankman-Fried who knows that it was illegally taken from FTX and then pulled over and used for his personal accounts, used to buy his parents' houses, used to buy political contributions and so on, they might be at risk because it depends how much knowledge did they have of these illegal transfers and did they do anything to help. I don't think that the parents would have participated in an illegal scheme, but they're still definitely.
That ain't my cameraman. I can tell you that. It's a weak angle. That ain't my cameraman. Over top the car, that garbage. Not even getting that full frontal shot. Not my cameraman.
Definitely going to be scrutinized, as are transfers, and did they do anything to help? I don't think that the parents would have participated in an illegal scheme, but they're still definitely going to be scrutinized, as are, I think, a lot of people who might have benefited and received money from Bankman-Fried.
All right. Meanwhile, the fact that two former confidants, this Caroline Ellison and, of course, Gary Wang, they're obviously singing like canaries. They've made some sort of a deal to cooperate with the government. If you're Sam Bankman-Fried, what do you think?
I would say plead early, plead often. The best thing he can do is never go to trial, because if you've already got people like his top two lieutenants already agreeing to the government that they will testify against Bankman-Fried, I don't know how he's going to put up a successful defense that he didn't know what was going on, because they're going to say, oh, Bankman-Fried told me to do this. Bankman-Fried told me to move the money here and there. Remember, Bankman-Fried's up, I think, on 7 or 8 counts of federal mail and wire fraud,
right,
securities fraud, 20 years each. He's talking about potentially over 100 years in prison. It's to his advantage to plead now and plead and hope to get a good case from the government, good plea from the government.
All right. Last time I had you here, I was at least liking it to the Ponzi scheme that Bernie Madoff was famous for building and ultimately landed him in jail until he died in jail. He did, though, through the trial, get to stay out of jail, stay in his apartment in New York, I believe, at the time. In this case, Bankman-Fried is going to do the same right to be at home or his parents' home. We don't know where ultimately that will be. But should he worry? To your point, this could be a short-lived freedom.
Yes, I think that the government, given how quickly they're moving, given the plea bargains they're getting, they, I think, want to make an example of Bankman-Fried. They're not going to go away unless they get some significant jail time, just as they did with Madoff. Remember, Madoff got such a long sentence, I think over 100 years.
That's right.
He died in prison. And so Bankman-Fried's got to be worried that the government wants to make a symbol out of him too. So he should hope to plead quickly and maybe get a reduced sentence. Plea his age, maybe plead, it sounds like in your report, mental illness, maybe plead factor. He didn't understand what was going on really, but he really should never go to trial. That would.
First Mover Americas, SEC scrutinizes crypto audits. SBF gets bail. The latest price moves in crypto markets in context for December 23, 2022. Join the most important conversation in crypto and Web3 taking place in Austin, Texas, April the 26th to the 28th. Secure your seat. Join the most important conversation in crypto and Web3 taking place in Austin, Texas, April the 26th to the 28th. Secure your seat. This article originally appeared in First Mover, CoinDesk's daily newsletter, putting the latest moves in crypto markets in context. Subscribe to get it in your inbox every day. Top stories: former FTX CEO Sam Bankman-Fried has been released on bail after appearing in U.S. federal court in New York on Thursday. Bankman-Fried was told he can live with his parents on $250 million bail secured in part by their Palo Alto house. His release also includes a long list of requirements for him to remain free while he faces charges. He's not allowed to make financial transactions of more than $1,000, can't open new lines of credit, can't leave the house except to exercise, and must go through substance abuse and mental health treatment, according to the agreement. The U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission, SEC, is increasing its scrutiny of audits of cryptocurrency companies in an effort to warn investors who may feel assured by audits such as proof of reserve reports. Investors should not place too much confidence in the mere fact a company says it's got a proof of reserves from an audit firm, said Paul Munter, the SEC's acting chief accountant. Having such a report is not enough information. Follow the URL for the full article for more on this story.
I'm the one out here putting the work in behind the scenes, trying to save crypto, while these devils, Sam Bankman-Fried, Brian Armstrong, they're trying to permanently ruin it. This is not about money for me. I hope you guys understand this. I'm here fighting for you. It's me. This guy with these freaking glasses on, this douchebag, is out here trying to tell you that only the suits know what to do. Only the suits. Only the people who have all the money. They're the ones who can determine what happens. No, our bill is for the people. And you're going to find this out. I don't represent the people. The fuck I don't. The fuck I don't. I'm the one out here putting the work in behind the scenes, trying to save crypto, while these devils, they're trying to permanently ruin it.
Lil Bubble.
I'm sorry I'm being so goofy today, guys. Why am I being so goofy? I can't help it with the butt boy. I love butt boys. Butt boy's blocked. I'm 100% blocked from butt boy because I am not a jokester. But anyway, wow, so much to cover. Let's go to Deck Screener. I want to go to Deck Screener. You know, on my solo streams, I kind of just bust it wild, kind of do whatever. Uncomfortable truths. Whenever I go to Deck Screener, it usually makes people very uncomfortable because my elite level focus. Okay. What do we have? All right, let's click volume. Ooh, wow. Hex with some crazy volume in the last 24. Whether that's buy or sell volume, a lot. Looks like sell volume. 1.4 million. Zen, which is only 50 days old, 700,000 on the USDC pair. Think about that. And let's look at that ratio to the liquidity. 334,000 in liquidity. So you can pull out $5,000, no problem. 10 grand, no problem. And 694,000 in volume. That's a 2x on our little on our liquidity providing checklist. That would be a 2.0 ratio. Usually you're looking for at least above a 1. And let's look at this one. This is a 0.2 ratio. Not going to be good for liquidity providing. What else do we have? Zen ETH. Obviously Zen ETH, 87,000. We talked about how these attach the Ethereum pair eventually. This could be more average users providing liquidity. I provide liquidity more over here, being that there's 356 transactions and only 87,000 in liquidity with 69K. I mean, with 69,000 in liquidity, it's right above that 1.0 ratio, which we like to see. And if you don't understand what I mean when I say the 1.0 ratio, I can explain it more later. And all those guys, you know, there's a lot of hexagons, and unfortunately, there's a few younger hexagons that I've watched, and it's hard to watch them struggle with understanding some of the concepts of the bear market, the macro trend, liquidity, why assets pump rather than another asset, right? And to watch them like, you know, guys, when I stop talking about stuff, it's generally because it's not the most exciting time to be talking about it. So I'm probably just going to leave it alone for a little while.
I'll mention anything if I have thoughts on it. But, you know, a lot of guys out there saying, when I stopped talking about ICOSA, it was, 98 cents. When I stopped talking about Hedron, it was 5 times the amount of money it was. When I stopped talking about Maxi, I sold all my Maxi at 11 cents. Poly, I never got involved in. I was just trying to look at but what do these functions have? They still have those staking functions. What did I say I liked from the ecosystem the most? I liked Liquid Hedron, and I liked Stake ICOSA. And that's it. And Watts's. That's it. I wasn't doing all this baloney because I knew it was all just going to get peter out compared to the macro. Duh. Unless something's brand new or something happened. But like when there's $2 million in liquidity and something, like people are going to take on that. People are going to take some money on that. People need money. People want money. A lot of people got this stuff for free. I earn a lot of Hedron for free every day. I have like 2 10x bonuses, a few 9x bonuses, like a few 5x bonuses. So it might not be a lot like on the daily, but you know what I'm saying. Why do you like Hedron Liquid versus staking it for ICOSA? Because I don't like the rate. And I think the volatility would be more in my favor for that asset. So if things were to go up, pump up, I don't need Liquid Hex as much because I think Liquid Hedron will pump harder than Liquid Hex. That's what I think. Because I know that when the lighter liquidity and that direct portion and all the sell-offs, the initial sell-offs, like people don't realize how quick these things dilute. And Alex is an engineer with it. He's very smart with I don't like to say like the burning of a token really changes the valuation because it really doesn't. But in his case, I feel like there are more users, and I feel like Hedron's lighter. It's a lighter hex. It's a T-share derivative. I think a lot of people don't know enough about it, and I think it has more of a fair distribution because of a lot of the confusion or whatever. So basically, I keep Liquid Hedron as a selling tool, but I keep my ICOSA staked because I earn Hedron and ICOSA at a higher rate for a longer time, and I can't stay in there. So all that regurgitation with my first ICOSA stake, that's all I ever put in there. That thing's like done amazing, right? But by the time I get it out, there might be some price action on the other end of that. But I knew the floor was in with ICOSA. I knew it wasn't. I knew the floor and the ceiling were kind of known, right? Like it can't go much higher than what the value was. And there's no liquidity. There's no liquidity in ICOSA. There's something not. Or at least when I was looking at it, there was like 40 grand in liquidity. People need to understand these fine-tuned points about liquidity. If you're looking at a chart and it's like, okay, we put all our Maxi into this poly pool and now it's in the poly pool. Well, great. You just had $10 million and now you have 40 grand. So you better understand what's going on. And I say that whole pool. So let's say you take 1 million hex and then you put it into Maximus, 1-for-1 exchange, but no one provides liquidity for Maximus except $33,000. And then your whole pool has just turned into $33,000. So it's not just because you have 1-for-1 something doesn't mean magical beings come in, and they do generally if people buy into the system, but it's a bear market. It's a tough time. It's hard. Do another ETF EW episode sometime. I'll do that. Okay, episode suggestions down below now. Episode suggestions down below now. And what do you want me to? I still have time today, and I got a couple more things popped up, so we're not going to get it twisted on that. Give me 1 sec. So BMBP is one that I've always been excited to see all the Ethereum, and then I have this one BMBP. I bought BMBP for $5. This is the first buy and one of the only large buys I ever did. Now I sold some of that at 25. I sold some of that at 15. I bought some at back, the whole deal. But now it's getting back to that launch price. And the really cool thing, this is a good little piece of alpha if you care about this kind of stuff. The cool thing about new products, like when I say new, I mean like in crypto, that'd be like 2 months, 3 months. Like the floor is the floor. So if people use this shit, it's going to have a higher valuation in the future. And you can assume if it returns to its initial valuation, there will no longer be people there to really sell it like that. I mean, it's possible because of liquidity and then people, but it's just generally when it gets back to that valuation area, it's going to be around there-ish. So if you're thinking about speculating, it's better to speculate when it's closer to the launch price rather than when it is $26.50. Now, I don't suggest you move all your money at once, doing anything at all, ever. Slow, tiny, little babies, learn. Everyone DMs me all day long. They say, what should I do with my Zen? What should I do with my Hex? And I'm like, you don't even know what you're doing. You don't know what you're doing. So why are you asking me what to do with the $100? You need to learn what's going on, or you're just always going to be at the whim of whatever someone else is saying. I don't know how long I'm going to be able to sit here and just spit that shit because frankly, it doesn't pay that well. And it's hard, to be honest, about all the moves, constantly try to do things first principles, like teach others as much as you know. It's tough. It's a tough little job. I love it. It's fun. But it's not like this is a passion project at this point. I'm trying to, in this bear market, get as many people up to somewhat speed as I can. So I think it's really important. This is a perfect example of something that people don't understand too well. So people do not understand ICOSA because they're always going to tell themselves, God, I wish people understood this shit, dude, because people lose a lot of money buying these assets than just sitting on them for a while. And I'm not saying you're not going to make out like a bandit in the long term. 123,000 in liquidity, good sign. They must have seen my video a couple of months back when it was back at 33,000, and I was like, this is trash. I was like, this is trash, like fucking 33. Who you scamming with a $33,000 liquidity pool? Come on now. But now it's a little bit different. 123,000 is nicer for a newer product. I like that better. And there's probably a lot of hex pairs and hedron pairs as well that are fine to switch through. Anyway, people, like, when hex goes down, your boy, just know, like, if everything stays stagnant and sideways, you're not going to see these crazy, unless something comes out or someone launches something. People were buying here, setting limit orders. People were buying here, setting limit orders. People were buying here, setting limit orders. People are going to buy here and set limit orders. And they're just going to get washed through. So why don't you just chill for a minute? And you should have done this earlier and focused on what's going on. But don't just, oh my God, here's this premium. I'm going to just go all in on a coin, even though I really don't know what the fuck it is. It's like, use the coin for what you're supposed to use it. And if you like it, continue to use it. Like, and if you're not, like, I use ICOSA for staking and I use Hedron for like my liquid bag. The Hedron USD, oh shit, I bet that is. Hedron's taking a rip too. Is it still at that like resistance line? Ooh, I like this. I'll show you where I bought Hedron the last time or the first time. I bought Hedron. Is there a reason this chart is so friggin' large? I don't feel like, this is why I don't look at charts, dude. I bought Hedron right here. Okay. It's $136 worth. And I made a fudge load of money on that throughout. Like, I sold all my Pulse Dogecoin at $4 and I swapped it for Hedron. Then Hedron just went God mode. And now we can see I was wrong about everything, but I wasn't really. I just said I liked it. And I didn't, you can never tell like exactly what's going on until you learn. But again, this isn't uncommon. Like, this is every product right now. It's going to return to the level. But what do we know about Hedron that's different? What do we know about Hedron that's different? I'll show you right now. What is different about Hedron? And I don't look at charts ever. So this is not like some master chart class. I don't give a shit about these fucking charts. It's just more like a pattern that you can look at. It's like the past. It's just a graph. So I can promise you Hedron cannot really stay around this area that long. Okay? Right? One's in the chat if you agree with that point. Where my little trigger is. So that would be, we're at 5 zeros, 1265, and that would be 6 zeros, 282. So it would take a zero off. It's like a 10x difference, I think. That could be wrong. One's in the chat if you think we could really go lower than this point. Or two's in the chat if you don't. Well, I forgot the first way I said it, but do you guys think that we could stay lower than this point for very long? I need to know what you think in the chat. Like, I need to know. Like, okay, so this is a graph. This is a full chart of Hedron, right? Sorry. Right? Right. So I don't think Hedron can stay lower than this. You know why? Because I don't think Alex in the squad is going to provide liquidity very heavily here. Because I don't think that really makes any sense. But you know what they do? I'm sure he had a wall the size of Jesus H's heart right here. And now I'm sure he had to ditch some of that and move it here. That's what I would assume. And we know the RH guys, they know all about that liquidity witchcraft. So I would say no. So that's not a horrible floor, right? Right. Now let's compare it to something that has more time and more weight. Not that much more weight, being that there's only $3 or $4 more million in this pool, guys. You need to understand that too. Okay, I'm just gonna go off on this then. Fuck it. So you have to understand what I'm saying here. Hedron is new. There's $2.1 million in liquidity. Hex is 3 years old. And we're talking about the USDC pairs on V3. Hex is 3 and some change old, and there's $5.9 million liquidity. I'm pretty sure my grandpa has more money than both of those people, both of those liquidity pools. So you got to think about it like that. Like, it's not like God mode money. You got to figure out what you're taking. And I'm not saying it's not. You got to understand what you're doing. I know Richard will just say this. It's not important that you understand liquidity because you're not going to sell 100,000, you stupid pleb. No. Incorrect. Knowledge is power, sir. And dude, if you don't think slippage is a problem, come on, bro. Get out of here. So, but let's press log on this baby. And let's go to the 1 day. These are 1 day candles. Go to 15-minute candles. Zoom it out, baby. Zoom it out. Okay. Dude, this is the stupidest fucking... I hate charts, dude. This is why I never do this crap. It's like, what am I doing? Trying to make sure I can see everything. Is there like... Do they not just show the all-time? Yeah, this shit, I can't do it. That anyway, I'll tell you what the point is. The point is, I don't have to look at that chart. The point is, Hex can go lower because there's more people that had a fucking load of it at lower prices. And that's where their money was anyway. So when there's people that bought at price points before, those are the same people that are going to have that value. The value cannot be destroyed. It has to be transferred or it has to stay still. So there's way many guys with way many big stakes coming out. And unless there's some manual, what do they call it? Benevolency from the OA and whatever daughter addresses. It's like,
I'm waiting for all that stuff to go down because people aren't buying it up. The liquidity pool is making the most, if anything. Keep you honest. Richard says market cap BS and liquidity. No. He said it to my face, Yoden. So if you want to get serious, me and him had a one-on-one conversation, and he told me you don't have to worry about liquidity. It doesn't matter for you guys. But he didn't know that I was a Giga Chad and that I've been studying for 300 days straight. And then I was learning. And I was like, dude, you're fucking lying. Like, you're just tricking everyone. And then he just called me a pleb, told me I was chilling Zen, and then it was over. But I wanted to talk about some serious liquidity providing. Yeah, he mentions it when he's streaming by himself like years ago. But now it seems like he could care less if his people or anyone really learns about these principles because it doesn't go directly towards his narrative of people just buying hex. It probably makes him have to do more, which he probably hates. You don't have to take my suggestion on that. I will stake the... Hold on. Don't be taking... My rates for all of these things are different than what your rates are. I did this on the first day that it was possible. So I don't know the exact rates. I haven't looked enough. So before you start going crazy on all this shit, well, buying it now and staking, I don't know, dude. I would just chill. Please chill. Everyone, please chill. Just chill. Well, that's true too. If you have a bigger bag of Hedron and you realize that stake is only 30 days, because when you stake your Hedron, I believe it's still in the circulating supply. And when you stake your ICOSA, I believe it's burnt. And then it starts a unit of accounting, kind of like Hex. So it just goes to the front end as a unit of accounting, and it shows you the actual math, but it's technically burnt and starting to ratchet up. I don't know exactly. So, yeah, and if you stake your ICOSA, it's going to make you do it for like 140, 120 days. So you got to be smart when you're doing this shit. You can't just be... You got to be thinking about exactly like what you want, because you're going to look at that and you're going to be like, what the hell's going on? I'm not a financial advisor. I don't want anyone spending their money or wasting their money in a bear market right now. And I've seen so many people waste their money for the last fucking 400 days and tell me they're the smartest people alive. Say the wrong narratives, promote the wrong things, do goofy fucking boxing matches and shit. It's like, I'm done with that shit. Like, I'm not doing this goofy bullshit. Like, let's get professional. Let's get some guys in here that know how to fucking work the room, and let's take over. You know what I mean? But I do, and I have stakes in all this stuff. So if you think I'm biased about hating RH or any of that shit, you're probably wrong. Like, if it works out, I also sacrificed a lot of money, thousands and thousands of dollars. So I think I'm pretty chill, being that I'm just an open-minded source of information at the moment. That's all. You know what I mean? All right. Well, that's enough talking about that. If you guys want me to talk about something on Deck Screener, just drop it below. Just drop it. We're going to get back into a couple of things. You know the FBI is being funded by social media? Of course they are. Of course they are. I think this is important, and I think it's more important than I think it's more important than people are realizing right now. If you're a United States citizen, and I guess globally, because communism's a thing globally. Whoops. Let's go.
Assembling, reproducing, or otherwise providing the information responsive to the legal. And the FBI confirming it's paying other social media companies in addition to the $3.5 million payment it made to Twitter in exchange for the companies complying with its requests. Quote, while we are not able to speak to specific payments, the government is required to provide reimbursement for reasonable expenses directly related to searching for, assembling, reproducing, or otherwise providing the information responsive to the legal process.
Former Arkansas Governor Mike Huckabee joins us now. Mike, I keep getting hung up on this while we are not able to speak on specific payments. So where is the transparency with this government agency? Because those are our taxpayer dollars. I would want to know where they're being spent. Is this legal to do this? But you know, on the flip side, they've added tens of thousands of IRS agents so they can look into our $600, a month Venmo accounts. So what gives here?
$3.5 million of the taxpayers' money going just to Twitter alone. We don't even know yet how much to Facebook and some of the other social media platforms. And the big question, what in the world is it that the FBI thinks it's their business to engage with these companies in the first place? What crime are they looking at? I wish they'd work as hard to find out who killed those college students in Idaho. There's real crime going on in the country, and that's what the FBI ought to be dealing with. This idea that they're going to investigate what someone said on Twitter, good gosh, people, that's not the FBI's job. We have freedom of speech in America. People can say stupid things. And unless they are specifically threatening to commit a crime, the FBI shouldn't be involved at all. This is absurd, and I hope taxpayers revolt. And when Republicans get in the House, by gosh, they better have some serious investigative processes going on and demand answers, but more importantly, demand accountability. Some people at the FBI, they need to be moved to the private sector and have to hunt for a real job.
Governor.
What do you guys think about this take right here? What do you guys think about the FBI doing this? I mean, he's so right. I hate to be Mr. Fox News, but these are just the ones that were. I'm not a huge either way. I don't know much about the news. This is new for me, watching and being a journalist of sorts about the news. It's really fun though. But I can't agree with him more. People are getting murdered, slaughtered. Federal penitentiaries are absolutely destroyed. We just sent $1.7 billion to Ukraine for war. And Twitter really wants to make sure Mario Falafel Naffel, who can't plug his mic in, and frickin' Richard Hart with the $6.8 million liquidity pool are the ones that want to feel max pain. They're what is going on? But then I know there's Elon and all that stuff, but come on. At some point, they're just controlling their whole job is to control narrative. Now, they used to actually have a gig. Sucks, man. I wish this country, I would do whatever job they asked me if I could do it right. If I was allowed to do it right, I would do it. If they were we need someone to train every day to be Mr. friggin' freedom fighting government dude, I would just be just train your boy right now. I want in. Freedom. You want to fight for something, guys. Fight for freaking freedom in Jesus' age.
For him to flee. Question is, how did we get here?
Last week, we announced charges against Samuel Bankman-Fried for a sweeping fraud scheme that contributed to FTX's collapse and for a campaign finance scheme that sought to influence public policy in Washington. As I said last week, this investigation is very much ongoing and it's moving very quickly. I also said that last week's announcement would not be our last. And let me be clear once again, neither is today's. First, I'm announcing that the Southern District of New York has filed charges against Caroline Ellison, the former CEO of Alameda Research, and Gary Wang, a co-founder of FTX, in connection with their roles in the frauds that contributed to FTX's collapse. Both Ms. Ellison and Mr. Wang have pled guilty to those charges, and they are both cooperating with the Southern District of New York.
Give this video a like if you remember who Caroline Ellison is.
Use a lot of elementary school math.
For those who don't, Caroline Ellison, the CEO of FTX's sister company, the trading arm, Alameda Research. If you subscribe to our channel, Altcoin Daily, by the way, make sure you subscribe to stay up to date with everything going on in cryptocurrency. Subscribers of our channel are already well informed. 2 weeks ago, we alerted you that Caroline Ellison spotted getting coffee in New York. The reason this is interesting, not only because she was walking freely among regular folks like you, like me, the reason this is interesting is because she was spotted about 6 minutes away from an FBI headquarters. It was thought she was working directly with the FBI against Sam. More information continues to come out, and it appears what we thought about Caroline Ellison was true. Breaking news, Caroline Ellison pleads guilty to 7 charges and faces a maximum sentence of 110 years. Gary Wang, an FTX/Alameda associate, Gary Wang pleads guilty to 4 charges and faces up to 50 years. It seems both Caroline and Gary Wang working with the FBI against Sam Bankman-Fried.
Come on, guys, watch yourself. Get out of my car! Get out of my car!
Sam, what do you say to your
Calm down,
investors?
guys. Everybody all right. Hey, hammer in the head. Okay.
So let me get this straight. Caroline Ellison commits one of the greatest cases of financial fraud ever, gets a $250,000 bail, has to surrender all travel documents in exchange for all charges waived, contingent on cooperation with authorities. This might be Caroline's best and only profitable trade.
Trying to think of a good example of a trade where I've lost a ton of money. Well, I don't know. I probably don't want to go into specifics too much with that.
So understanding that Caroline Ellison and Gary Wang both have agreed to cooperate with authorities against Sam Bankman-Fried, Caroline Ellison and Gary Wang both have bail agreed by the DOJ, the Department of Justice, at $250,000. This is a ridiculously offensive low number given all their assets. For comparison, Arthur Hayes, the CEO and founder of BitMEX, this was one of the largest, most used derivatives cryptocurrency exchanges on the planet at its time. Arthur Hayes was charged with failure to establish proper anti-money laundering KYC rules, and Arthur Hayes had a bail of $10 million. Make no mistake about it, Caroline Ellison and Gary Wang are getting sweetheart treatment by the Department of Justice. Caroline Ellison plea agreement, $250,000 bail, surrender of travel documents, forfeiture of assets. The plea agreement would waive Ellison of any charges except criminal tax violations, provided she fully cooperates with the U.S. Attorney's Office. The SEC, including SEC Chair Gary Gensler, very happy to take credit for this, tweeting out, "The SEC today charged Caroline Ellison and Gary Wang for the roles in a multi-year scheme to defraud equity investors in the crypto trading platform FTX. Ellison and Wang are cooperating with the ongoing investigation." Congressional Representative Tom Emmer reminds us Gary Gensler and the SEC had more meetings with Sam Bankman-Fried and FTX and Alameda than anyone else in crypto, allegedly to craft a special regulatory framework designed to benefit FTX alone. Making backroom regulatory deals with bad actors should not be a tool in the SEC's toolbox. So that lands us here. Sam Bankman-Fried released on $250 million bail secured by his parents. Remember when SBF publicly stated that he only had $100,000 left, if that?
To my knowledge, I have basically nothing left. Basically everything I had was invested in the business. I expect I'm going to have nothing at the end of this. I think I had $100,000 left in my bank account last I checked, and I think I have, one credit card working with that right now.
Earlier this summer, you thought you had, what, 32 billion?
Probably 20, but a whole lot more than I do now.
I can't imagine what it feels like to go from $20 billion to $100,000.
Yeah, it's been a really humbling fall in a lot of ways.
Now he has $250 million for bail. The US government is openly rewarding bribery now. They don't even care to appear impartial. It's a message that says, if you take care of us, we take care of you. This is spitting in the face of FTX victims. Let me update you on the latest details. Again, make sure you subscribe. This is a developing story. We're going to keep you updated like we have been. This is what you need to know. A federal judge has agreed to release former FTX CEO Sam Bankman-Fried after he appeared in U.S. federal court in New York on Thursday on charges that he was the mastermind behind the fraud and illicit movement of customer funds inside his former crypto empire, FTX. The judge set bail at $250 million. Bankman-Fried, who was brought to the U.S. overnight by the FBI after his extradition from the Bahamas, cleared on Wednesday, arrived at the courthouse in New York to face U.S. felony charges for the first time. The case in the U.S. District Court for the Southern District of New York centers on accusations of fraud, money laundering, and campaign finance violations. Bankman-Fried's release was secured by equity in his parents' Palo Alto, California home, and a long list of requirements was included for him.
Is it 1% in New York? 250. What is 1%? 5 million? 2.5 million? Yeah, 2.5 million. So the collateral on the house would have to be 2.5 million. Do we know how much the house was worth? I think somebody mentioned it earlier. Is it 1% in New York?
To remain free while he faces charges. He's not allowed to make financial transactions for more than $1,000. He can't leave the house except to exercise and must go through substance abuse and mental health treatment, according to the agreement. So that's how he was able to do it. Barbara and Alan Bankman-Fried have agreed to put up the equity in their $4 million California home where he will live during his house arrest as part of the bail. 2 other people, 1 relative and 1 non-relative, will fulfill the rest of the bond. So SBF's friends and family are helping him make bail. Again, it must be nice to have so many friends in high places. So SBF's parents posted his bond. That is true. Reminder, the current CEO, John J. Ray, the current CEO of FTX, said that his parents, SBF's parents, received payment from FTX.
Is there any evidence of his parents' involvement in the operations?
Well, certainly, clearly, and I think in our first day papers, we indicated that that Mr. Bankman had given legal advice.
Okay, Ed, had he been an employee of FTX, as has been reported?
I don't know if he actually had an employee status, but he certainly received payments from, the family did receive payments.
Okay, that sounds like employment to me. You got a payment for, okay.
I still think FTX customer deposits are being used to get SBF out of jail, even if it is not directly coming from him. In summation, Sam Bankman-Fried, the former CEO of FTX, steal billions from customers, go down swinging and lying, play League of Legends in your Bahamian mansion for weeks afterwards, claim you're broke and sad, get arrested, somehow make $250 million bond, spend Christmas at home chilling, make this face on the way to mom's car. By the way, if you're planning to attend Bitcoin Conference 2023, let's hang out.
I'd rather be dead than go to Bitcoin Conference 2023. I shouldn't say that. That's wrong. I don't mean that. I don't want to be dead, and wouldn't be the worst, I guess. I ain't buying, though. I ain't buying. So Jack Levin, yesterday, guys, had a little ZenFT update. One's in the chat if you want to know when the ZenFT launch is. Do you guys know when the ZenFT launch is? Do you guys want to know? I want to see biceps in the chat. One's in the chat. So let's get it. Come on. I want to see the chat. 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 Please show me the chat. I want to see the chat. Guys, let's slow this down for a minute. I just decided I wanted to go on for another 20 minutes and show you a little ZenFT Christmas miracle. Sponsored by GRC. Why don't we just do 1-for-1 mints for Zen into GRC token? And then that would have more value just because I buy some flexes. Very, very interesting. You guys know I've been a humongous proponent to ZenFTs on Christmas. I'm a big Christmas guy. Actually, not really true. I'm not a big Christmas. Guys, I'm caught in a cyclone. I'm caught in a cyclone. I think I'm in a cyclone. I've been hearing this trigger word cyclone, and I think it's occurring outside of my residence. Not the worst thing that's happening outside of my residence. And I saw someone mention journalism. Well, I'll show you some journalism. I'm from the DMV. And we ain't worried about no cyclones. You want to know why? We got bigger fish to fry. Do you feel me? Baltimore is an absolute slaughterhouse. And every single day you get the luxury of hearing the shots along with getting the news feed live. Let's check out the most recent news feed. This was from 2 minutes ago. This was literally 2 minutes ago. I'll show you guys what's going on where I'm at. It's only 2 minutes. It's only a 1 minute thing.
That's right. It's bizarre when police tonight are trying to understand how
A 14-year-old girl managed to get shot while sitting in a passenger seat of a moving vehicle. It all went down about 2 o'clock this morning over in the 1700 block of West Baltimore Street. Police say the 14-year-old victim was sitting in the vehicle when she was shot in the leg. She was later walked into a hospital nearby for treatment. Her injuries are not believed to be life-threatening. However, police are not sure who pulled the trigger. She is also not believed to be the intended target. Tonight, the investigation is on. A strange one here, and we'll get to the bottom of it by the end of the day. We're live. Jeff Abel, Fox 45 News.
So that was from 2 minutes ago. Everyone, make sure you're safe. Make sure you say love you to your families. Oh, I got to turn my light back on. My whole shit went off. Make sure you say I love you to your family in case anything wild. I'm sure that young woman had no
Easy to hold
well, she
it up.
wasn't a woman, she was 14. I'm sure she had no thoughts or any correlation with any of these things, but she was what we call collateral damage, which is unfortunate. So real quick, I'm going to show you
conversations in the
real quick. I'll show you about this NFT launch. I want biceps. Biceps. Remember, my power went out, so I need to redo those biceps and those ones. Ones in the chat, biceps in the chat.
but we have this yin and yang
Minutes.
Would there be a
And there are EVM compatible attacks to come up with
staking whereby it's locked there. I thought that maybe
Finally, I think the focus to kind of mine it and get involved with it. Whereas and
this is for their NFT.
Gosh. And so it doesn't have to be more complicated than you're interacting with Zen protocol and burning it, for instance, or you can do other things with it as well and issue things. And
General answer is around Zen will allow and pass against it.
Short, so we get a chance for
next week.
Everyone pumped up and ready with some YouTube videos this week. I don't know, everyone pumped.
I'm still here. Can you guys hear me?
Yep. All right, guys, let's move on. We have so many questions coming in, so let's keep the questions short, so we get a chance for everybody to say something. Black Engineer or Jim Rutz, do you want to go ahead?
What's up, guys? How's everyone doing? Do we know when the launch is, or are we just getting excited for pre-launch?
Well, this is a pre-launch party. We're just having a good time talking with the community and also updating on the audit. The launch date is tentatively set to be late next week.
God bless America. Well, that I'm actually streaming right now, so I just switched this over and I just walked in the other room with my cell phone. I'm excited for Zen NFTs. I'm going to get everyone pumped up and ready with some YouTube videos this week. I don't have any real questions. I just wanted to come up and say what's good, what's up, and good to see everyone. And I'm excited for that. I guess that was a nice little nugget.
Yeah, welcome. Always glad to have you in the chat on YouTube or in Spaces.
We got 50 bros on YouTube, so I'm gonna just drop down and listen.
Okay. All right, guys, raise your hand if you have questions.
Hey, Jack, I was wondering, do you already have a set price for the NFTs when they do launch?
There isn't a set price because just like with Zen, no question.
Very, very generous.
The kind of the price action.
You got minutes, I think, like perfectly laid out. He just nailed it.
Yeah, I
Thank
did.
you.
You know, I'm not saying that.
Available
to attack. It's pretty well decentralized.
We're going to be blowing up the NFTs.
To have quite. So please take over, and guys, please feel free to continue.
Is the speed of it.
Choose the wrong exchange. Volume is better.
They see the money flowing. That's going to get us more folks following Zen also. So not only are we going to dominate multiple chains, but now we're going to have a chance to have a big presence in the NFT space too. So I think your move was brilliant, Jack. Absolutely brilliant.
Thank you.
I don't know if anybody's going to notice. Do you think when we launch these NFTs on each chain?
Yeah. When you burn Ethereum down and burn OpenSea down, yeah, I think they'll notice.
They're gonna think SBF's coming after them or some shit like from down under. They're gonna be like, what's going on with all the fucking? But again, I have one more question before I stop. So there's about $1 million in volume today, and that would be in and out on Uniswap for Zen. Probably a little under that. I haven't checked. But what are you seeing? We've talked about this, Jack, and I want to revisit it because we haven't talked about this in a while. What are you seeing on Gate.io? What are you seeing on these centralized exchanges? And what could maybe a suggestion. Let's say that I'm a trader and I'm going to do a little bit of 5% of my bag and I'm going to trade it. Is there any benefits to maybe trading on a centralized exchange and then sending it off and stuff like that via the gas structure for Ethereum? And just for FYI, I only use Ethereum just because for Zen, this is all I've done. And I was just wondering what you're seeing on Gate.io and how that changes the dynamics of these volumes and liquidity I'm seeing. Sorry.
So what we see more liquidity less exchanges for sure. There is likely there's a couple of benefits. Number one, you're not going to have as much price slippage. That's true because when you buy something on Uniswap and the liquidity is low, you end up getting suboptimal price action. Also, you end up paying gas. On a centralized exchange, you're getting better price execution. You can set limit orders easy. The volume is better. Like, for example, just to give you an idea what I see on CoinGecko right now. So on CoinGecko, I'm seeing almost $7 million in trading volume for Zen, where it's only 10% of that on the Uniswap ecosystem. So there's definitely a benefit, and there's, of course, I mean, it doesn't come without an issue of should you choose the wrong exchange, they can turn off the lights. And always don't forget, guys, not your keys, not your coins. And when you use exchanges, you're actually giving up control over your crypto. So if you want to practice first principles, I would say definitely Uniswap is a better idea because you're not trading through the middleman. You're trading directly with somebody else out there. You're trading with somebody's pool. And I just looked at CoinMarketCap. In the last 24 market cap reports, DEX volume or decentralized exchange close to 5 million, and CEX volume, CEX, which is centralized exchange, is 2.5. So that tells me that people are more excited about decentralized right now. But yesterday I saw it in reverse. So it's kind of back and forth.
I think. Do you think that's directly price gas fee related or quickness related? If they think that there's something going on, because generally, if you're going over there, one of the reasons you didn't mention is the speed of it compared to Ethereum. If you're serious, and now I don't even mess with it like this. I really don't. I don't do any of this stuff, but I know people that do, and I've read enough and looked at enough. But when you click, I've done enough centralized exchange stuff. When you click on something, it's much quicker. Do you see is massive trading just really just a outcome of something that's popular?
I think anytime there's a jump in volatility and jump in liquidity, people go everywhere they can go, because like OKX and MAXC and Gate.io, all of those exchanges do have quite a lot of users. And whenever something pumps, they immediately advertise within their UI that something is very, very interesting, and they're amplifying the move. So it's a plus and a minus. I mean, certainly one possibility is that you could buy Zen on Uniswap and then you can sell Zen on a centralized exchange, and you will get better execution, because selling Zen will give you somewhat of a slippage on the DEX, but not so much on the CEX. So certainly there's a lot of possibilities, and we're all for more exposure, more liquidity, more visibility. So that's why we don't really shun the conversations about the decentralized exchanges, as long as people know that what they're getting into. I think they're fine to use as bridges specifically. Like, for example, you can bridge between Ethereum and Binance just using a centralized exchange without needing to use the some sort of a decentralized bridge that could be hacked. So yeah, I mean, like I was able to move between Binance and Ethereum back and forth just using MEXC. That was okay, and my crypto wasn't really sitting there for a long time to be exposed to the potential situation should they decide to turn off the lights, so to speak.
Now they can put a 1500 confirmation trap. Is the 1500 confirmation, is that a result of a lot of volume coming in, or a result of lack of liquidity? Like, because I've traded 1 million coins, all on everything, MEXC, everything, and when something gets a little weird, suddenly that takes 8 hours to send. So that can be troublesome too.
Yes, that is the issue with the fact that when you trade on a centralized exchange, you're not trading crypto, you're trading against their centralized database. And when you're withdrawing your crypto from a centralized exchange, they need to settle with you. And if there's too many withdrawals happening at the same time, you're actually waiting in a queue. You're waiting in line to get your crypto out, just because they have limited amount of crypto that's true real crypto in their wallet, and you're really trading something that doesn't necessarily exist. But when you withdraw, that's when the settlement happens, and sometimes you just have to end up waiting in line. So that's the negative aspect of it.
I'll let someone else ask a question, but I'll be right. If we get a dead silence, I'm in there. I got a couple in the tank.
Oh, it's good, Jurat. We have Joseph here and Sapa Lovas.
Hi, Sensu. Actually, I'm happy to have you on the line. Can I ask you a question?
Of course, of course.
Oh, perfect. So I recently noticed on the, the
Guys, this storm is getting absolutely out of hand. If you want to talk to me more, I'll be live streaming again today. Don't you get it twisted. If anyone has any live news they want me to cover today, put it down below. I got a little notepad here. I'd love a suggestion. Any court cases on SBF and company. That's a no-brainer. If Richard Hart went live on something, that might be a no-brainer. If Jack goes live on something, might be a no-brainer. Any government horror that goes live, you never know. I love it, guys. Crypto in the morning. Everyone who sent a super chat today, I really do appreciate that. And I'm going to go prep the outdoor. I have a big yard, and like a garage and a couple of things, and everything's like ripping off the garage right now. The cyclone. Yeah, dude, it's storming so bad. Anyway, I'll be back. Have an amazing day, guys. Make sure you hit the notification bell if you want to see some of the greatest content in the history of cryptocurrency and journalism and AI goodness. Everyone knows that my thumbnail game is stepping up faster than Jordan in 91. Okay? That took me 3 minutes today. I know it's shit, but it only took me 3 minutes. My first one that I did a week and a half ago took me 6 hours. So we're getting somewhere, guys. We're getting somewhere. Crypto in the Morning live every single day at 11 a.m. Eastern. If you're not following my Twitter, you're messed up because we love it. Let's go. Crypto in the Morning every single day at 11 a.m. Eastern. Have an amazing day, guys. Make sure you say hi to your parents. Be a nice person. And don't go anywhere where people are smoking crack cocaine. That is critical.
You already know what time it is. Crypto in the morning. Crypto in the morning. Crypto in the morning. Waiting on phone. Crypto in the morning. 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 Waiting on phone. Crypto in the morning. Crypto in the morning. Smoking a blunt on my way to the gym. 11 a.m. and I'm already tuned in. Got me some hacks and I'm making a stake. Got me some hydro, I'm making it rain. Pay me some maxi and that's just in case. Gym ready, send me to show you the way.